Welcome, lovely viewers, to another exciting video. Hello and a warm welcome to our channel. Today, we're delving into Aquilegia coerulea. Aquilegia coerulea, the Colorado columbine, Rocky Mountain columbine, or blue columbine, is a species of flowering plant in the buttercup family, native to the Rocky Mountains and some of the surrounding states of the western United States. It is the state flower of Colorado. The Latin specific name coerulea or caerulea means sky blue. As we enter this new phase, let's uncover the impact of description on our broader topic. Aquilegia coerulea is an herbaceous plant with flowering stems that may be centimeters when fully grown. They are perennial and regrow from a simple or branched calyx that is covered in the bases of old petials, the stems that support individual leaves. The basal leaves, the ones growing from the base of the plant, are always shorter than the flowering stems, just tall. They are compound leaves that are usually biternate, having 9 leaflets in total in groups of 3. However, occasionally they may be simple with just 3 leaflets, trifoliate, or more complex tripinnate. Each leaflet is quite thin and has 3. On their upper sides they are green and smooth and hairless. They may either be glabrous or covered in fine, minute hairs on the undersides. Leaflets most often range in size from, but occasionally may be as long as. Mature plants grow 1 to 10 flowering stems, though averaging 3 to 4, each with 3 to 4 flowers. The flowers furthest out on stems opening first and then opening in sequence downward. The plant flower buds nod, facing somewhat downward. The flowers are large and showy with a diameter of as much as 15, but more often about. They are so striking that the botanists East O. Wooten and Paul Celsius Sandy enthusiastically wrote of them in their 1915 Flora of New Mexico. The flowers are atop stems, ones that stand perpendicular to the ground, and have 5 large, spreading sepals that resemble petals in shades of white to deep blue or occasionally pink in their wild condition. The sepals range in shape from a flattened circle with somewhat pointed ends, with the widest part moved toward the base to like a somewhat egg-shaped spearhead ovate. They range in size from 26 to 51 millimeters long and millimeters wide. The 5 petals have very long tapered spurs, ranging from 25 to 72 millimeters in length, though usually longer than 34. The blades of the petals are long by wide. Petals are most often white to cream in color at the front, with the spurs having the same range of colors as the sepals. The flowers are scented and produce more volatile molecules during the day than in the evening. The center of the flower has a projecting cluster of numerous bright orange-yellow stamens, total. The flowers are protandrous, developing pollen before the stigma becomes receptive. The stamens range in length from 13 to 24. They surround 3 to 10 unfused carpels with flowers, most frequently having 6, but varying even on the same plant. If fertilized, each of the carpels may develop into a dry pod that splits along one side. Each of the pods is round in cross-section and is filled with small, smooth, black seeds. Both the number of pods that develop and the number of seeds in the pods decrease for flowers that bloom later on a plant. The leaves may be mistaken for that of a Medaruthalictrum, but the flowers are entirely different and the species cannot be confused while flowering. Similar columbines in its range include Aquilegia scapulorum, Aquilegia jonesii, and Aquilegia micrantha. Aquilegia scapulorum has leaves that are covered in natural waxes, making them blue-green rather than green. It is found in Nevada and Utah. Aquilegia jonesii has much shorter spurs on its flowers, and grows to the north in Wyoming, Montana, and Alberta. Aquilegia micrantha has very sticky leaves. In the upcoming portion, we'll be dissecting taxonomy to gain a comprehensive understanding of its implications. Aquilegia coerulea is classified in genus Aquilegia in the family Ranunculaceae. A 2013 study found that it is most closely related to Aquilegia elegantula, Aquilegia skinneri, and Aquilegia longissima. The first scientific description of Aquilegia coerulea was by the American scientist Edwin James in 1822. Though Aquilegia coerulea was the original spelling by James, it has often been spelled as Aquilegia caerulea, as this is more correct Latin. However, the rules of taxonomic nomenclature generally prefer the original spelling, and this is the name adopted by the Board of International Botanic Nomenclature. James found the first specimen he collected in a thicket of scrub oak near what is today Palmer Lake, Colorado, while on the Stephen H. Long expedition of 1820. After James's description, 7 species, 6 subspecies, 5 varieties, and 2 botanical forms have been described that are considered to be synonyms of the species or one of its 4 varieties. Name year rank synonym of notes Aquilegia advena 1856 data sort val year species va. Coerulea equal het. Aquilegia caerulea 1823 data sort val year species va. Coerulea equal het. Auth. The Aquilegia canadensis subsp. Coerulea 1893 data sort valued subspecies Aquilegia coerulea hom. Aquilegia coerulea subsp. Albiflora 1918 data sort valued subspecies va. Ocroluca hom. Aquilegia coerulea va. Albiflora 1895 data sort valued variety va. Ocroluca hom. Num. Superful. Aquilegia coerulea subsp. Alpina 1918 data sort valued subspecies va. Alpina hom. Aquilegia coerulea subsp. Daily 1918 data sort valued subspecies va. Coerulea equal het. Aquilegia coerulea va. Daily 1897 data sort valued variety va. Coerulea equal het. Aquilegia coerulea F. glandulosa 1891 data sort valley form va. Coerulea equal het. Aquilegia coerulea va. Leptoceras 1909 data sort valued variety va. Ocroluca hom. Num. Superful. Aquilegia coerulea va. Macrantha 1893 data sort valued variety va. Coerulea equal het. Aquilegia coerulea F. pallidiflora 1891 data sort valley form va. Coerulea equal het. Aquilegia coerulea subsp. Pinetorum 1918 data sort valued subspecies va. Pinetorum hom. Aquilegia formosa subsp. Coerulea 1893 data sort valued subspecies Aquilegia coerulea hom. Aquilegia formosa va. Macrantha 1893 data sort valued variety va. Coerulea equal het. Aquilegia leptoceras 1834 data sort valuer species va. Ocroluca hom. Aquilegia macrantha 1838 data sort valuer species va. Coerulea equal het. Aquilegia orophylla 1902 data sort valuer species va. Coerulea equal het. Aquilegia piacinana 1934 data sort valuer species va. Coerulea equal het. Aquilegia pinetorum 1910 data sort valuer species va. Pinetorum hom. Notes: homotypic synonym equal heterotypic synonym. Class Anorup table of synonyms. With our foundation established, it's time to explore varieties and its relevance to our overarching theme. There are 4 widely accepted varieties of Aquilegia coerulea according to Plants of the World Online, World Flora Online, and World Plants. Though World Plants additionally lists Aquilegia coerulea daily as valid, as does the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service PLANTS database. As we venture forward, let's examine Aquilegia coerulea alpina in detail and gain a deeper appreciation for its significance. This variety was scientifically described by the botanist Owain Nelson in 1896. It is known by the common name of Colorado alpine columbine, though botanical writers such as Robert Knoll doubt the validity of the variety. It differs from the other varieties by having much smaller petal blades, only millimeters instead of millimeters. It grows on open rocky slopes in the state of Wyoming at elevations of 2,103,500 meters. It always has pale blue sepals and flowers from June to August. NatureServe has not evaluated the variety since 2001, but at that time they listed it as vulnerable, but they also list it as possibly extirpated from Wyoming and with an unevaluated status in Utah. As we progress through this video, let's shift our attention towards Aquilegia coerulea and uncover its hidden depths. 5 species were described at various times that are considered heterotypic synonyms of this variety. The autonymic variety of the species grows in Wyoming, New Mexico, and Colorado at elevations of 2100–3500 m. It is distinguished from the 2 following varieties by having medium to deep blue sepals where they have white, pale blue, or pink sepals. Its sepals range in length from 28 to 51 millimeters. The petals have spurs that are long while their blades are usually, though occasionally as short as 17. They grow on rocky slopes, near streams, in open woodlands, and in herb-dominated meadows. They flower in the summer starting in mid-June and may flower as late as early September. NatureServe evaluated the variety in 2004 and found it to be apparently secured globally and in Wyoming. They did not evaluate the rest of its range. Prepare yourself for an eye-opening discussion on Aquilegia coerulea in the upcoming portion of this video. This disputed variety was described by the botanist Alice Eastwood in 1897. It is a variation where the petals lack spurs and both the petals and spurs are colored deep blue and commonly called spurless columbine, but is also sometimes called Daly's columbine or star-flowered columbine. The spurless columbine may be found in identical habitats to the coerulea, but only in the state of Colorado. From the foothills to alpine areas, forest openings. Part of the reason for its persistence is a lower level of the flowers being eaten by various herbivores such as deer, caterpillars, and aphids. Colorado resident Anna Daly collected specimens of the spurless columbine near Evergreen, Colorado, and sent them to Eastwood. A genetic mutation causes the petals to be replaced with a second set of sepals. The population continues to reproduce in and near the Reynolds Park open space in Jefferson County, Colorado. They are also found around Estes Park, Colorado near Rocky Mountain National Park. Though lacking parts to produce nectar, the flowers are still pollinated by bumblebees, which collect pollen from the plants. When NatureServe evaluated it in 1991 as a variety, they rated it as imperiled. In this part of the video, we'll be diving deep into Aquilegia coerulea, and unraveling its profound impact. William Jackson Hooker described this variety in 1864. It had previously been described as a species by Thomas Nuttall in 1834 with the name Aquilegia leptoceras. This species name was also unnecessarily reclassified as Aquilegia coerulea leptoceras by Arvane Nelson in 1909. It was inadvertently described by Ossa Gray as Aquilegia coerulea albiflora in 1895, from which it was reclassified by Edwin Blake Payson as a subspecies in 1918. It was not recognized as a distinct variety of the species in a Utah flora in 1987 and by Alan T. Whitmore in 1997. It differs from the coerulea by having lighter blue or white sepals, occasionally pink, and from the pinetorum by having shorter flower spurs usually, but possibly, and shorter stamens. It grows in Idaho, Montana, Nevada, Utah, and Wyoming at elevations of 2,000–3,600 meters. It flowers as early as late June and may bloom as late as August. It is commonly known as white Colorado columbine, despite the fact that it may have light blue or pink sepals. When it was evaluated by NatureServe in 2004, they assigned it the status of apparently secured. Now, let's delve into the intricacies of Aquilegia coerulea pinetorum and explore its various aspects. This variety was first described as a species with the name Aquilegia pinetorum in 1910 by Ivar Tidestrom. In 1918, Edwin Blake Payson described it as subspecies of Aquilegia coerulea, and in 1942 Thomas Henry Kearney and Robert Hibbs Peebles gave it the present classification as Aquilegia coerulea. Pinetorum. Like the Aquilegia, it may have white to pale blue sepals, occasionally light pink, while it has longer petal spurs usually, but ranging from 45 to 72 and longer flower stamens. This variety is found in Utah and Arizona at elevations of 1,800–3,400 meters. They may flower starting in May or as late as September. The variety is reported to interbreed with Aquilegia chrysanthemum golden columbine north of the Grand Canyon, with Philip A. Munns observing it is very difficult to distinguish between dried specimens in herbariums. When the variety was evaluated by NatReserve in 2004, they rated it as a vulnerable variety over the whole of its range and critically imperiled in the state of Nevada. As we venture forward, let's examine names in detail and gain a deeper appreciation for its significance. The genus name, Aquilegia, is frequently said to mean eagle-like. The author Bill Castleman strongly asserts this to be incorrect and that the name derives from the Latin adjective aquildus with the meaning drawing water. The species name, coerulea, is botanical Latin meaning sky blue or dark blue. Two of the most frequently used common names in English are Colorado columbine and Colorado blue columbine. However, the species is also called Rocky Mountain columbine for its wider natural range. However, this name is also infrequently applied to Aquilegia saxamontana. The common name columbine is suggested to be related to the Latin for dove, for a resemblance of 5 doves drinking at a fountain. Aquilegia coerulea is also known as blue columbine or simply as columbine, though Aquilegia brevistilla is occasionally known as blue columbine, and many species are casually called columbines, such as Aquilegia canadensis. In the Goshute dialect of the Shoshone language, Aquilegia coerulea is called either or, as recorded by Ralph Very Chamberlain. Brace yourself for a deep dive into range and habitat as we explore its impact and relevance in our evolving narrative. Colorado columbine is native to the Rocky Mountains from northern New Mexico to southern Montana. It grows in all of the mountainous western half of Colorado and Wyoming. Additionally, it grows in every county of Utah, parts of Nevada, and northern Arizona. It is listed by the USDA as growing in Idaho and South Dakota, but without county-level distributions. The species was reported to grow in the Caribou-Tuckey National Forest in eastern Idaho in 1973. Though the geographic center of the range is in eastern Utah, the greatest number of plants is found in the mountains of north-central Colorado. Rocky Mountain columbine grows in mountainous areas, starting at lower elevations with the Rocky Mountain variety of the Douglas fir. They become more common at higher elevations in mountain ecosystems and subalpine habitats, with some growing above timberline in the alpine tundra. The lowest elevations where they grow naturally is 1,800 meters for Aquilegia coerulea. Pinetorum, and the highest is 3,600 meters for Aquilegia coerulea. Coerulea in the southern Rocky Mountains. This species of columbine grows poorly in heavy soils without good drainage. However, it prefers moist areas and is very often found in quaking aspen groves. It will also grow in the open coniferous forests, meadows, and in clearings. When there is sufficient water, they will thrive on rocky outcrops and slopes. With the groundwork laid, let's now examine ecology and its connections to our previous discussions. Within its natural range, Aquilegia coerulea is most often pollinated by hawksmoths and bumblebees. Specific species of hawksmoth include Hyles lineata and Sphinx vashii. The bumblebees include Bombus apicitus, but Bombus flavifrons visit the flowers much more frequently. Hawksmoths visit most often during the night, while bumblebees only visit during daylight hours. The plants have the highest rate of cross-fertilization between plants in areas where the number of flowers is smaller and the population of hawksmoths is highest. Normally, Only hawkmoths with their very long tongues are able to access the nectar at the bottom of the very long spurs, with bumblebees visiting primarily or only for pollen. The western bumblebee bombuse occidentalis has been observed nectar robbing from Aquilegia coerulea by opening or using holes cut in the spurs. Though prior to its decline in numbers in the 21st century, they were also a significant pollinator of the species in some areas. The broad-tailed hummingbird also visits the blooms, but at a much lower rate than moths or bees. In the next phase, we'll be immersing ourselves in the realm of conservation and exploring its real-world applications. The conservation organization NatureServe reviewed the species in 1991 and found it to be globally secure due to being a widespread species that is very common in some areas. They also rated it as apparently secure in both Colorado and Wyoming. However, they also rated it vulnerable in Montana and Nevada and imperiled in Arizona. They did not evaluate the rest of its range. The wildflower authors Frank and John Craighead attributed a relative decline in the population of the species to overgrazing by sheep and cattle in 1963. As we enter this new phase, let's analyze culture from different angles and evaluate its significance. Though it is not the standard form for a columbine, the long spurs and shape of the Colorado columbine's flower is the most recognized in the genus. The white and lavender variety of the columbine was officially instituted as the flower symbol of Colorado on April 1899 by an act of the Colorado General Assembly. In 1925, the species was protected by law in Colorado, preventing needless destruction or waste of the flowers. It prohibits the digging or uprooting Colorado columbine plants on public lands and prohibits picking more than 25 flowers, buds, or stems in one day. In the years, there was also a group called the Columbine Association that sought to establish it as the national flower of the United States. It is used in the logos of the American Society of Plant Taxonomists as well as the Colorado Native Plant Society. Without wasting any more time, let's jump into the fascinating world of cultivation. Aquilegia coerulea is used as an ornamental plant in gardens. The species was adopted as a garden plant very soon after its scientific description, with its introduction to the United Kingdom coming in 1864. It is also planted in American gardens for its attractiveness to hummingbirds. They are tolerant of damage by deer and rabbits. It is also recommended as an attractive plant for revegetation of mountain roadsides in its native range by the Office of Natural Environment in the Federal Highway Administration. When planting large areas, it is seeded at a rate of 112 ounces per acre. Colorado columbine is winter hardy in USDA zones. Plants in cultivation grow most successfully in average to medium garden soil that is well drained and even moisture. They may be grown by gardeners in full sun or partial shade, but plants grow best in light to moderate shade. It is propagated both by seed and the division of plants. Colorado columbine is vulnerable to powdery mildews, particularly when its leaves are regularly wet by overhead irrigation. It is also susceptible to infestation by aphids, though not more than other species of columbine. Plants can also be attacked by leaf miner flies and soft fleas. The treatment of seeds with gibberellic acid and planting at 21 Celsius results in 93% germination after 3 weeks. The seeds also display resistance to sprouting without treatment, with none sprouting when planted at 21 C and 40% germination after 2 weeks after first being cold stratified at 4.5 Celsius. When grown in gardens, plants will last 3 or 4 years at most and often are treated by gardeners like a biennial. Its natural variability and ease of hybridization with other columbines is exploited in the selection of numerous cultivars in different shades. This is a drawback to gardeners seeking to have standard blue and white columbines, often requiring them to seek collected seeds rather than replanting. The cultivars that are probably entirely or largely derived from Rocky Mountain columbine include Alba, Albiflora, and Snow Queen. Cultivars that are thought to be significantly of a coerulea ancestry include Crimson Star and Rose Queen. The origami series of hybrids such as origami blue, origami white, and origami yellow are listed by authors such as P. Allen Smith and Alan Armitage as being largely derived from a coerulea, but plant sellers will sometimes list them as Aquilegia vulgaris. The origami hybrids were originally developed by Goldsmith seeds. The genome of the Goldsmith cultivar was sequenced as part of a study of the transfer of genes between columbine species and was later used to study the evolution of basal eudicots. As we enter this new chapter, let's navigate the complexities of web sources and unravel its multifaceted nature. Rocky Mountain Columbine Ertatuarschiger Plant C. Aquilegia coerulea details website Gardening a Languagen, a publisher Royal Horticultural Society access date June. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and share it with someone who might benefit from it.